Wings helps homeless and abused women and children by offering integrated services that meet their needs for shelter, education, guidance, and support. Here now to talk about the organization are its Executive Director, Rebecca Darr, and Board Member, Sarah McClary. Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us, what does WINGS stand for?
Well, I'm going to let Sarah talk a little bit about what WINGS is, because she's one of our graduates and can tell you a lot about what we do and what it stands for.
Okay. WINGS is an acronym for Women in Need Growing Stronger, and we're a nonprofit organization that fights domestic violence and homelessness in the northwest suburbs.
And we have homes and apartments. One home is right here in Schaumburg.
Oh, where's that located?
Well, we don't divulge the locations of our homes, although you've actually been to it because you helped us establish that home here in town about 12 years ago. But Sarah and her boys were able to take advantage of that house and get back on their feet. So it's been a godsend because it's helped hundreds of women and children.
Now, how many of these homes do you have?
We have one emergency domestic violence shelter that is in Rolling Meadows. That's more emergency nature for women who are fleeing domestic violence with their children. Sarah started there and then went to the Schaumburg house with her boys. And then we have 4 large homes like that throughout the northwest suburbs: Park Ridge, Barrington, Palatine, all the places that people wouldn't suspect you would find them. And then from there we have homes and apartments, quite a few, which we also have in Schaumburg.
Now, how did WINGS get started? Who started WINGS and when did it happen?
Well, that's also a Schaumburg story. Their St. Marcelines Church, which is in Schaumburg, their church members saw a need for this type of thing back in 1985. So 3 of their church members got together and established a board of directors, and from there they started the agency, and we're now 25 years old today.
Wow. 25 years old today?
Well, not exactly today. It was in April, but this year, 25 years old. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah.
Now, you have resale shops too, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. We have 3 resale shops. Well, we did have 3. We lost one to a fire that we're trying to reopen, but we have a pretty phenomenal one right here in Schaumburg on Higgins Road that we have all kinds of clothes. I buy all of my stuff from there. A lot of our board members buy their stuff from there. I don't know if you buy your stuff for you and your boys there, but it's quite a large store, and we have everything from clothes to furniture to housewares. For Halloween, we have costumes and all kinds of neat things that you can get to dress up for Halloween.
How old are your boys?
They're 6 and 7, and they were 1 and 2 at the time we lived in that house. So they still remember.
They do?
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what they call the house.
They call it the nice house.
The nice house?
Yes. So it was new. I mean, it was new when we moved in there.
Sure.
Very well done. So.
What are the names?
Jonah and KJ.
That's great. How did you get on the WINGS board, and how did that come about?
Okay. Well, I met Rebecca while I was still a resident of the program. I wrote her letters actually when I needed some help with some things, or when I had some ideas for things that could be done better, and she always responded, and that impacted me a lot. But when I graduated the program, I'd been very vocal that I wanted to give back in some way because I was so grateful for what the program had done for me, and she asked me if I wanted to be on the board. I didn't see that coming, but it was a no-brainer. I mean, obviously, I'm totally willing to do anything I can to help.
You say yes right away, or
Yeah, she told me I could think about it, but I didn't really need to, so I'm glad to be able to give back.
How long have you been on the board?
Well, I think my term started in 08. She asked me in 07 when I graduated. So.
How is it being a board member of WINGS?
It's very fulfilling just to be able to see the other side. I'd never seen that side of things when I was a resident, and I was shocked just to see all the people that give so much, all the people that serve on our boards that are professionals that could be doing so many other things with their time, and they're so talented, and yet they choose to spend so much time giving all those services to us and helping us. And the people, it's been great getting to know the people, and I've loved being able to contribute in some way after what they've done for me.
Well, that's great. Great. What kind of capacity do you have in terms of additional homes or additional services, or I mean, is there a limit that you've reached, or is it still something you're?
Well, over the years we have grown the organization. Like I said, we've been around 25 years. We have the shelter, which is 45 beds, and in the other homes and apartments, we can house up to 120 women and children. Due to the severe, which we've grown quite a lot in the last 10 years, frankly, we've grown quite large to, we're the largest transitional housing provider for women and children in all of northwest suburbs, which is wonderful, except for the fact that we're needed in the first place. But we're glad that we're able to be here for people like Sarah and her boys, because it really helps them to get back on their feet. And she's a shining star, someone who really took advantage of it. But with the economy last spring, we actually cut quite a bit of our staff and brought all of our beds down, essentially, that we're only taking 90 women and children into the long-term housing and only 20 into the emergency. And the main reason is we don't get state funding to support our programs.
Really?
We get less than 2% of our annual budget from the state, which right now is actually a blessing because we're not waiting on a check like a lot of folks, but it also forces us to raise about $3 million a year on our own through resale and events and contributions to be able to support those operations. So when the economy's down, then we have to reduce our services.
Where do you guys get referrals from? Where do they come from for the most part?
Our largest referral base are the faith communities. We get a lot from them. Police departments, hospitals, both Alexian Brothers and Northwest Community are big referral sources to us for women who come there with injuries and then need a place to go from there. And then the police, obviously, when they go out on a domestic violence call, will let them know that they can call us for help.
How many staff people do you have?
Right now we have about 40. 2 years ago we had about 70. That's how much we've cut back over the last 2 years.
It's just people who have stopped giving money, or donors, or foundations have stopped?
Yeah, I mean, with the down economy, a lot of our $100 and $200 donors have disappeared. And actually, even with resale, our income has gone down because people are holding on to their nicer items, or they're putting them on consignment or selling them instead of giving them to us to sell, and which directly impacts our sales numbers.
Well, there's other organizations out there too. I mean, there's a shelter, as an example, is one that. So you're providing somewhat, well, maybe a little different level of service. They don't take adults, I guess.
Right. Yeah, they're youth primarily. Wonderful organization.
Okay. And you folks will take women, single women, and women with children,
and older boys will take we have women who move into some of our apartments with 17-year-old boys that will help them too, try to help figure out where the boys are going to go, if it's to college or to some school or education program. So
you have apartments besides some of these other houses?
Yeah, the way it's set up is they can move from, if you want to talk about your experience of moving from the shelter to the homes, but we have a whole system, continuum of care for them so that they can move from an emergency situation into our homes, like the one we have in Schaumburg. They don't pay any rent there. The whole idea is that they take that time to get back on their feet, get their kids settled, try to figure out where they want to go, with an education, with their career, and then from there, once they have an income, they move into an apartment that they can stay in from 18 months to 2 years. You want to talk about what that was like for you?
Yeah, my kids and I came to the shelter. We had nothing. I mean, we had the clothes on our back when we came there, and we were obviously very traumatized. We used that time to kind of just get our bearings and take advantage of counseling and things like that. And then I enrolled in Harper College, and I got accepted into the transitional program. I went to Park Ridge first, and I was there for about 3 months, and then I moved to the Schaumburg house.
With the two boys, right?
Yeah, with my boys. And during the time I was in those two homes, I was going to school. Then I got a car donated to me. So at the Schaumburg house is when I got a job. And since there's no rent, I had no expenses or anything. They helped with child care payments, everything. All the money that I was making, I just was putting it in the bank and saving it. And so I had that cushion by the time I moved to my apartment through Wings, and then I started paying the rent. So it was just a graduate step program, which helped me, because it would have been too much for me to go, from the shelter to where I was at directly to, working in my own apartment. And so that was like a really necessary transitional time for me.
So Wings helps you every step of the way.
Yeah.
In terms of when you first come in, how much need is
right.
Is there?
And so gradually I took on more and more responsibility for myself and my boys, and financially I just started to grow. And with my education, I finished school by the time I was done with the program and got a job. I had saved up some money, and so I just taken that time to grow in all those ways that I didn't have those resources when I first came into the shelter. So.
How did you find Wings?
I was
Or
referred
did
there.
Wings find you?
I was referred there through a church. I went to a church for help, and they called Wings for me.
Is there still a role for some of those folks at St. Marcelines?
Oh, yeah. We
Are
have
they still?
several church members are involved. We have, for the Schaumburg house, we have a Schaumburg Friends of Wings, and there's community members from Schaumburg who sit on that advisory, and they continue to take care of the house, which is wonderful because then I don't have to worry about it. They help maintain it. They help. It was just redecorated again. They brought in resources to help redecorate it, and they do that every few years. But St. Marcelines has continued to be a support to us. And
So that's been kind of a parish project then, isn't it?
Oh yeah, over the years that they've always taken care of us, and they've always had people involved with Wings. And in fact, for our 25th anniversary, we have our Celebration of Hope Luncheon, which is our annual meeting in October, and they're one of the groups that we're going to honor. We're honoring 25 individuals and groups and companies who have made an impact over the 25 years, and they are at the top of the list. So.
Oh, that's great. It's wonderful to see that kind of community commitment and
Absolutely.
actually see some positive results there. So, what's your goal at this point? Where have you guys reached the bottom yet in terms of the recession hitting you? Or?
Everyone says, well, the papers and the economists say that the recession is over and it's getting better. We haven't felt it yet. Our donations, we'll tell really with this holiday season, because that's the big time where people, who can, will open up their pocketbooks again and give to us. We just had a fire at our Palatine resale store in June, and we put out, a call for help from the community and set up a fire relief fund, and the response was phenomenal. So, every little bit helps, whether it's $5, whether it's $500, it doesn't matter. It makes a difference for us. So, but we're hopeful. I mean, like I said, we did these layoffs in the spring, and our hope now is that it is over and we can start putting staff back in place and start growing our programs again.
How can people get involved in Wings, and how can they volunteer, and how can they contribute to the loan closet?
Well, the best place to do is go to our website at www.wingsprogram.com, and there's all kinds of information there about the events that we have, about how you can volunteer. We always need lots of help in the resale stores. We have very few staff there, and we rely heavily on people to come and help us sort the clothes, get the things out on the floor, make it look pretty. And then we also have volunteers that can work directly with the women and the children. So the best thing to do is to go to the website, because you can get all that up-to-date information on what we're doing.
Well, thank you for being on this show.
Thank you for having us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Say hi to your voice for me.
Okay, I will.
That's it for this edition of Speaking of Schaumburg. Join us again next month for another all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town.